Welcome, everyone. This is Scott Unkelbach, Director of Field Leadership for IDLife. It's my privilege to be with you tonight with our formulator, our chief formulator, Paul Sullivan. Paul is a guy that I've known for a number of years now. He's tremendously respected in the industry. As you can see in his bio, that he's a pharmacist and a compound pharmacist and a formulator and a licensed nutritionist. He's been responsible for creating over 400 products. And if I was to tell you about some of those, you would recognize the names of those products. He understands the wellness industry, but he has a passion for nutrition and he has a passion for ID nutrition. Matter of fact, he's made it a focus of the last 17 years. And
people think that if they eat 3 squares a day and a sufficient amount of protein and carbohydrates and fats that they're getting all they need. But basically, the way kind of our lifestyles have gone today, or the way we're working, mothers and wives often working and needing to prepare food in a quick way or pick up prepared food from a grocery store or, God forbid, maybe get fast food. We're just finding that there's less of the good nutrition and more of the bad nutrition. So in a more kind of crude way, say there's too little of the good stuff and too much of the bad stuff. And you hear terms like, the processed foods, and frankenfood is one I like to use, where there's so many ingredients in the food now, particularly if you're buying it outside the house, that are affected by all the sides. There's 4 of the sides I talk about: insecticides and pesticides and herbicides and fungicides. Your meats have more estrogens, antibiotics, the trans fats, the high sugar, the high fructose, corn syrup, food coloring, plasticizers. I mean, where's the food? Where's the nutrition that we had, 20, 30, even 40 years ago? And government statistics will show that some of these major minerals, like magnesium, is down over 50% in our foods, potassium down 80%, where the only mineral that's really increasing is salt. And it also is not only the food we're getting, and even if we can buy organic and buy fresh and buy close to home, it's often the way we cook it. And if it's a slow cooker, it's okay, but today using microwaves, we're losing at over 106 degrees, we're losing all the enzymes in food and many of the nutrients. So, and I know how many mothers and fathers and people out there today have to use the micro to warm up food they picked up outside or maybe leftovers, and to find out that that's nothing but bulk, nothing but fiber, nothing but maybe some carbs that can generate a little bit of energy because it'll convert to sugar. The nutrition is just empty. So it's all about the quality of the food we select, the lifestyle, and then the way this impacts our long-term health is things that are happening today. The prescriptions you're taking today at 40, 50 years of age, maybe just one blood pressure med, maybe something for cholesterol. That problem started, 15 years ago. It didn't start yesterday or last week when your doctor told you had to start on Lipitor. So these are long-term risks, long-term considerations. So we just got to make sure that we're getting our nutrition. And I basically start off with my vitamins and the rest of anything I get with a carefully balanced meal, timing it right, trying to get, say, less of the bad, more of the good. I still know that if I'm taking my supplements, that I'm getting the nutrition I need and that my cells need. And so I thought if I could come up with a system to alert the doctors or alert the patients or the clients what those risk factors were, that they could do both. And what I want to position this is that I'm not an alternative healthcare professional. And as you showed in my bio, I have a lot of healthcare background, a lot of very rigorous scientific and in biological training and pharmaceutical training. But my practice, my outlook, my philosophy is integrative, meaning we're working with medicine, not against it. It's not alternative. It's not take my vitamins, don't take your prescriptions. It's not get acupuncture, don't have surgery. It's not conflict as I see it. I think it should be working hand in hand hand in glove to be integrative, one working with the other. So the last few years, I've worked hard to kind of evolve the drug-nutrient interaction problem into an easy software assessment that analyzes things like diet and lifestyle and medical conditions and things like that, in addition to over-the-counter drug use too, not just prescription use. You know, if you're using aspirin, if you're using ibuprofen, acetaminophen, things that you'd find in over-the-counter type medications or in combinations, you have risks of interactions with nutrients or depleting certain nutrients, and that's the evolving science that we have taken a leadership position in, is ascertaining which drugs, which OTC ingredients deplete critical nutrients, and by doing that, replacing those nutrients before they become a problem, before either you have health erosion or potentially more medical conditions that require more prescriptions, which is kind of the way the game is played. We call it the prescription cascade. Yeah, we have looked at over 7,000 studies, implemented about 4,000 of them, Scott, that are developed into algorithms within the system, and adding more every day, because this is a dynamic situation. Science is changing, our clients are changing, our patients are changing, our membership is changing on a day-to-day basis. They have different medical challenges, they're taking different prescriptions, they're hopefully changing their exercise, they might be changing their nutrient need. So we're saying that we've done these, looked at all these medical studies in order to base the recommendations on scientific evidence only. But all of these studies kind of give us updates, and we look at things on a monthly basis. We go back and look at 5,200 journals to review these studies and see if there are any new or corrective studies in addition to, say, new uses for our current ingredients. But in all cases, if we find a pharmaceutical interaction, we can correct that, add that block in the software in an hour.
What is pharmaceutical grade nutrition, and why does that separate us from most other companies? Not all companies, but most companies.
Scott, the FDA requires, and you can buy just about anything on the shelf and know that it's pretty standard. And if you go into a Walmart or a CVS or a big box retailer, that if you buy their supplements, that if they say they have 500 milligrams of vitamin C, it'll be in there. But the problem is, you really have to rely on the manufacturer, the brand that they have, which is not always the best in a Walmart. Not that it's unsafe by any means, it probably isn't. It's probably very safe. But it will not, they don't always necessarily dissolve. The more expensive brands are tested for disintegration rates, right? So you say, well, the FDA said there must be vitamin C in everything on the shelf here that's stated on the label, and say that's probably true. But it may not disintegrate. It's basically, it should by law disintegrate in 45 minutes, where ours will disintegrate, inside 20. A two-piece capsule has to dissolve in 20 minutes. Ours will dissolve in 10. These are all kind of pharmaceutical grade enhancements. I am a pharmacist. I understand manufacturing. We inspect all of our contract manufacturers to make sure they're FDA and OTC approved. And those are very powerful delineations between somebody just starting up a fulfillment or a contract manufacturer for a vitamin company. There's a lot of them out there. It doesn't take much money to get into it, but to be able to pass these rigorous FDA and OTC inspections are what we use in our manufacturers are required. I visited them all, and I audit them every year.
Let's talk about why the ID Nutrition solution is so powerful and truly fills in the nutritional gaps like no other solution in the world. And I know you're passionate about this, and I am too, because of what that means for everyone's long-term health.
Well, the gaps, and everybody has them, and they're all different. We've counseled over 10,000 patients, and we find that rarely anybody over 45 would get, two 45-year-olds or anybody over 45 would get anything the same. So everybody has different gaps. It's all about, even if you're a fitness instructor or you go to a trainer, you're going to get your fitness regimen will be personalized, right? Because it's just for you. So we use, we like to say 100 people over 45, you'll get 100 different formulas, 100 different programs. We talked about the science, where we're using all the 4,000 clinical studies. The quality we talk about with the selection of the nutrients, the safety, again, with the drug-nutrient interactions, screening those out, stopping it. If there's a particular nutrient that interacts with your drug, you won't get it, not in our system. So we've built a system from the ground up. I mentioned that in the beginning. We started with the science, then we built the assessment, and then the recommendation results, and then the nutritional program on top of it. So only at the end are we supplying, we believe, the finest nutritional program, because it's built with the correct building blocks, and those building blocks are the science and the formulations and the ingredients, and then all the other details I've told you about. The chronobiology, giving the right nutrient at the right time of day, the right filler or a bioactive filler. So all of these features make, and most of them are different from anything on the market.